Hello, friends of Sudoku, and welcome to today's heart puzzle by the New York Times. I thought I could help you breeze through this puzzle, having given you a pretty hard diabolical puzzle yesterday. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's see if we can just relax a little bit with this puzzle. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Most New York Times hard puzzles aren't. So let's just start it by filling in a 1 in this cell because we have the 1 and the 1 here, and they block all of these 4 cells, and therefore this cell will have to be a 1. As usual, I'm going to talk a little bit with myself and getting to know and familiarize myself with this grid. There's a 4 here and there's a 4 here, and I know now that a 4 will have to go in one of these 2 cells. So I won't be looking anymore for 4s in this row and in this box. If we look at the 2, 6, and an 8 here, we need to find homes for 2, 6, and an 8 in this row 3, and they cannot be, of course, in any of these 3 cells. We have 3 empty cells here, but one of them is already taken by an 8. So we only have to find homes for the 2 and the 6 for the time being. Now there's a 6 here, and that blocks a 6 from this cell, and there's a 6 here, and therefore a 6 can't go in this cell either. And that leaves just this cell for a 6. And because of this 6 here and the 6 here, we now know that a 6 will have to go in one of these 2 cells here, this cell or this cell here. If we are stuck, I'm not really feeling stuck yet, but if we are stuck, then we can always try to look for intersections of columns and rows that have a larger number of digits in them. For example, this cell here, it cannot contain a 1 or a 2 or a 3. It could contain a 4, but not a 5 and not a 6, nor a 7, 8, or a 9. So by simply counting, we can find this 4. And remember when I said that one of these 2 cells would have to be a 4? Now we know that this cell couldn't be a 4 because of the 4 here. So we found this 4 now. And because we found this 4 here, we can now put a 4 in this cell because these 2 4s block all of these 5 cells from a 4, and this 4 blocks these 2 cells. Therefore, a 4 will have to go here. And because we found this 4, now we can put a 4 in this cell here because this 4 blocks a 4 from going in this cell. Therefore, a 4 will have to go in one of these 2 cells in this row. And that leaves us just this cell for a 4 in row 9 because we have these 2 4s out here already. And a very simple piece of logic here. There's a 2 here that blocks these 3 cells from being a 2, and we've got this 2 that blocks these 3 cells. So obviously a 2 will have to go in this cell. And I can already see that this 8 and this 8 will force an 8 to go in one of these 2 cells, and therefore in this cell or in this cell. And we also know that this cell must be a 9. We can't put a 9 in any of these 3 cells because of the 9 here, and we can't put a 9 here because of this 9. So here it must go. And for this column 3, we now need a 2, 5, 6, and a 7. There's a 2 and a 6 here, so they can't go here. They have to go in these 3 cells in some order. But since we already have a 6 in this row and we have a 6 in this row, we know that the 6 will have to go here. and the 2 will have to go in one of these two cells. If we look at the 1, 2, 3, and the 4 here, we have to find homes for them in this row, and they can't be in these two cells, of course. We already have a 4 and a 2, so we just need to find homes for a 1 and a 3, don't we? Now, this one here prevents a 1 from going here, and this one tells us that a 1 can't go here. The only place it can go is here. And this one now and the one here, they block all of these 5 cells from containing a 1, and therefore we know that the 1 will have to go here for the top row. And this one now blocks these 2 cells, and the one here, this cell, and the one here blocks this cell. So this cell must be a 1 now. And scanning right, we can see that a 1 will have to go in this cell because of the 1 here and the 1 here. Now scanning downwards from here, there's a 1 in this column, there's a 1 in this column. We need to find a place for a 1 in column 8. It can't go here or here, can't go here or here, nor can it go here because of this 1. Therefore, it must go here. And that completes the ones for this puzzle. To complete row 2, we need to find a 7, among other things, and clearly a 7 can't go in these two cells because of this 7 here. So we can put a 7 here. Now these two cells will have to be a 2 and a 5. So if these two cells now have to be a 2 and a 5, and this 7 blocks these two cells, we know that a 7 for this row will have to go in this cell or in this cell, right? So now we need to find a 7 for this row here, and it can't go in this cell because of the 7 here. Therefore, it goes here. And now we are looking towards the top. The 7 here and the 7 here in combination with the 7 gives us the 7 for the top row, like so. We still need to find a 3 and a 5 to complete column 4. There's a 3 here, and that means that a 5 will have to go here, and the 3 therefore goes here. Let's examine closer this row 8, shall we? We need to find a 2, 4, 5, and an 8 to complete this row. Now, this cell cannot be a 4, it cannot be an 8 either. It has got to be a 2 or a 5. This cell cannot be a 4, and it cannot be an 8, so this cell also happens to be a 2 or a 5. And that leaves only a 4 and an 8 for these two cells. So, since we don't know what goes where, we still can figure out now what is going to go into this cell. And the only possible value now is a 5. And as we remember, these two cells had to be a 2 and a 5. Now we know that this 5 forces a 5 in this cell and a 2 in this, and therefore a 2 in this. Now the 2 here and the 2 here force a 2 in this cell, like so. And now we can finally place the 5 and an 8 we had up here because we have this 5 now. This now must be an 8 and this must be a 5. And now the 8 here and here resolve the 8 and the 4 that we had going on down here, right? The 4 here now and this 4 and the 4 in this row prevent the 4 from going here, and therefore we can enter it here, and that's where it has got to go. Now we just need to find a 2 and a 3 for these remaining two cells, and there's a 2 already in this row. Therefore, this must be a 3 and this a 2. We can also distribute the 3 and the 6 that we still need for these two empty cells. There's a 3 in this row, namely, and therefore this cell becomes a 6, and this must be a 3. And those two threes, of course, makes this cell also a 3. And the 3 here and here gives us a 3 for column 9. It goes here. Now we need an 8 and a 9 to complete this row. 7, and there is a 9 in this box already, therefore this must be an 8, and the 9 will have to go here. Now we just need a 3 and a 7 for these two cells, and we need an 8 and a 5 for these two cells. And they're easy because we have an 8 already in this column. This is a 5, and this is now an 8. And this 5 and this 5 gives us the missing 5 for column 8, like so. I almost forgot this cell here. It has got to be a 9, of course, because that's the only digit missing from the row. And now we have a 6 and a 9 pair up here. We can't place them at the moment, but I think that we will get around to them very, very shortly. We still need a 2, 7, and a 9 to complete these three cells. There's a 2 here and a 9 here, so of course this must be a 7, and there's a 2 here. Therefore, this is a 2, and the 9 will have to go here, won't it? Now the 9 here and here gives us a 9 for this column, like so. And now we know how to distribute the 9 and the 6 that we had up here, like so. And the 6 here puts a 6, of course, in this empty cell. This must now be an 8. And the 8 here and here gives us the 8 for column 2, must go here. And this cell must be a 7 now. And therefore this cell is a 7 and this is a 3, and this cell must be a 3, and the last cell up here was a 5, has to go here, and therefore this cell becomes a 5 and this cell becomes a 6. As you can see, this was a breeze, and I owe you, I think, an easier puzzle, because yesterday's diabolical puzzle, admittedly, was a little bit tough. But some of you asked for it. You also asked for a puzzle with less than 25 givens, and that is usually a diabolical puzzle, and they are typically a little more difficult. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this one and that you'll be back for more soon. Bye for now.